Hello and welcome to Brushstroke Saga, the place where we embark on a journey of creativity, exploring various art techniques and supplies. I'm thrilled you're here with me today. If you're looking for a cozy escape into the world of art, you're in the right place. Today's video is all about daring to try and learn a beautiful art technique as we'll be sculpting a clay palette for mixing paint. Before we dive into the artistic process, take a moment for yourself. Grab your favorite beverage or snack, find a comfortable spot, and let's create together. This is your time to unwind and enjoy the simple pleasure of crafting. You can watch, you can listen, or you can do both. Whatever brings you the most joy. Let the saga begin and enjoy. I imagine that in times gone by, artists faced quite the trip to gather everything needed for sculpting, going through the artistic marketplace and navigating all of the specialty shops, each offering a piece of the creative puzzle. The search for the perfect clay at pottery suppliers where the aroma of raw materials filled the air, sourcing sculpting tools from craftsmen who dedicated their skills to forging these instruments. And then the paints, a treasure hunt through art supply stores, exploring aisles filled with tubes and palettes. But today, we find ourselves in a different era, thanks to innovations like the Sculpt pottery kit I'll be using. This comprehensive package contains soft, pliable clay, a variety of sculpting tools, vibrant paints, markers, and even decorative garnishes. Can't help but admire the progress we've made in making artistic endeavors more accessible and enjoyable. The days of visiting multiple stores are now a tale of the past, which may be a wonderful or shameful thing, depending on how you look at it. I got this kit for my birthday, and it'll be the first time I try it out, so I'm on the excited end of this dilemma though. Now comes the fun part, cutting out our template. Here's a simple piece of paper. We're going to let our creativity run wild with it. No need to stress about perfection, it's all about enjoying the ride. I grab a pencil and start sketching our design. This could be a classic rectangular palette or maybe something more abstract. Everything goes. Now, I grab the knife and carefully cut along the lines. It might require a bit of focus and accuracy, but hey, imperfections add character too. Remember, it's not about creating a flawless form. It's about relishing the process, feeling the paper under my fingers, letting my mind wander, and finding a moment to relax and meditate. If a corner is a bit wonky or your lines aren't ruler straight, no biggie. This is our unique creation, and it's looking fantastic already. So let's take a deep breath, enjoy the satisfying rustle of paper, and watch our template come to life. I can already tell I'm gonna have lots of fun doing this project. Now, let's dive into the heart of our creation, the clay. It's like holding a world of possibilities right in my hands. I take a moment to feel its coolness, and then the magic begins, squeezing the clay between fingers, letting the warmth of hands work its charm. It's almost like a gentle massage, forming, shaping, and bringing it to life. As I roll it flat, I feel the texture transform beneath the roller. There's something special about the closeness between the material, the tool, and you. You see, every artist, no matter how they got their hands on their materials, shares this moment. It's that intimate connection between a person and the matter they're about to sculpt. The clay changes its features because of your touch, and that's one of the moments I can really feel how the art happens. I try to think about getting to know the clay, not just preparing it, understanding its nuances and letting creativity roll with it. This step, where our hands and the clay become fast friends, can mark the beginning of something beautiful. So, as we get our clay ready, let's take a moment to appreciate the simple joy of this connection. It's a shared experience among artists throughout time, a touch that transcends the ages. Now that our clay is a bit more familiar and prepped, it's time to give it some shape. Remember that template we crafted with so much care? Well, it's about to become the guide in this next step. I lay the template on the flattened clay, press it down gently, and trace around it. As we cut along the lines, visualize the palette taking form. It's like giving life to our creative vision with each slice. Speaking of clay, I find it hard to touch it without thinking of all the civilizations throughout history that marveled at its wonders, just as I'm doing right now. Clay has been a companion to artists for centuries, with evidence of its use dating back to ancient civilizations. From Mesopotamia to Mesoamerica, people have shaped this versatile material into vessels, sculptures, and yes, even silly little palettes for mixing colors. Imagine the hands of artists from different eras, much like mine now, engaging in the timeless act of molding and crafting with clay. It's a connection that transcends the ages, linking creative spirits across times and places. So, as we cut out the shape of your palette, maybe take a moment to think about the rich history that clay carries. We're not just crafting, we're joining a legacy of artists who found beauty and expression in this humble yet extraordinary material. Yes, it sounds like a bit of a pressure, but try not worry too much about it. With our clay palette taking shape, let's take care of smoothing out the form. So I grab a sponge and a bit of water. This is where the really satisfying stuff happens. I gently glide the sponge over the surface of the clay, finding that sweet spot between smoothness and just the right amount of moisture. It feels like a dance, a delicate balance that takes care and practice. Caution is key here. We don't want to step on our partner's foot, overdo it, and lose the lovely details we've crafted so far. Now here's a fascinating thing about water and clay and us, humans. We go way back. Think about it. Water, the essence of life, and clay, one of the earliest materials shaped by human hands. It's almost poetic how these basic elements have been intertwined with our journey from the very beginning. And speaking of water, it's not just for smoothing out surfaces, it's a magical glue for clay. Apply a bit and you can seamlessly join different pieces together. It's like a secret handshake between the elements. So, as we smooth and shape, I ponder the profound connection resulting from the crash course of these basic materials in humanity. Was it inevitable for us and pottery to meet? Perhaps. What we do know is that right now we're part of a timeless tradition, molding fundamental elements into something uniquely ours. Once again, no sweat, we're doing great. Even more so, that achieving a completely perfect form can be quite the challenge, if not impossible. But guess what? That's the charm of handmade creations. It's good to embrace the imperfections. They're like the fingerprints of the artistic journey, making each piece truly one of a kind. Once we're satisfied with the effect, it's time to let our creation rest. The form needs some time to dry out and solidify. It's like watching it take a deep breath before the next step in its journey. The next day, or after a few days of patient anticipation, our clay palette is bone dry and ready for the next chapter. It's painting time. We'll use white paint and give this palette a clean, fresh canvas. Dip your brush into the paint and don't worry if you're not completely confident with it just yet. When handling your brushes, try to keep a light touch and let them glide across the surface without forcing anything. Start with broad strokes, covering the entire palette in that crisp white. Feel the brush in your hand, the smooth flow of paint. Allow your autopilot to take over. There's no rush and we can simply enjoy the process. Here's a nifty tip. If you want a more vibrant result, let the first layer dry and add a second coat. It's like giving your palette an extra layer of confidence. Now let's bring a little character to our palette with something lighthearted. How about adding some freckles to dance around? This is an extra step because I just happen to feel like letting go of precision and embracing the whimsy. Dip the brush in brown paint and with a flick of the wrist, let those splatters land where they may. Just adding personality and charm to our palette, one delightful speck at a time. No need to stress about being too neat or exact. Always appreciate the chance to let the inner child come out and play. The freckles of brown paint are like the laughter lines of creation, adding a touch of spontaneity. I'm feeling the joy in each flick of the brush, and let the splatters tell a story of the creative energy I'm infusing into the palette. All of the precision work and dignified talk about clay can build up and stress one out, so with this loose, dynamic step, we can let it all out while having fun. With the paint now dried and our palette already telling its own story, it's time for the finishing touch. I want to make sure our creation stands the test of time, and for that, we'll be bringing in the varnish. I carefully apply the varnish over the painted surface. With it, I'm giving our palette a protective hug, securing it from moisture and adding a glossy finish that enhances its beauty. I think it's the last stroke in this whole endeavor. After the varnish dries and all of the mess gets cleaned up, the palette is officially ready to join me in my future creative adventures. I don't think of it just as a tool, it's a piece of art crafted by hand and marking the first step in the journey of sharing these things with you. Make sure to let me know with your comments and subscribe to join our little artsy corner. Let the saga continue.